Welcome to the HCMA Facebook page and our series, Share Your Story. Today we're going to hear from Cory Finney. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself in a few minutes. And just as a reminder, the HCM Share Your Story program comes to you from the Facebook page when you want to share your story. So if you're thinking that you would like to share your experience of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy with the community and the world, please contact the HCMA office and we can discuss how to share your story with the world. So without further ado, Cory, welcome to the HCMA Facebook page.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Cory.
Sure. So I'm currently living in Nashville, Tennessee, but I am originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I still have family that lives there. I'm fairly new to Nashville. I've only been here for about 7 months, but I work with a little consulting company. And I do video production for our internal video work. And then I work with some of our clients that need content creation. And I'll do that as well. So that's kind of what I'm doing here in Nashville. Like I said, it's only been about 7 months. I came from Atlanta before that, and even LA before that, and Chicago before Los Angeles. So I have bounced around everywhere. Yeah.
I hear Nashville
all over.
A pretty hot place to be these days. So it seems like you're following the trend.
There we go. Yeah, I'm a little done with the snow.
Well, I think the snow might find you there once in a while.
A little bit.
Let's talk about the topic at hand today. When was the first time you heard the words hypertrophic cardiomyopathy?
So actually, I have a pretty funny story when it comes to first hearing about hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. So years ago, back there used to be a little high school drama television show called One Tree Hill. It's pretty popular. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. One of the main characters, Lucas Scott, played basketball on the show and ended up getting diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And at the time, I was living in Los Angeles and would watch the show every now and then. And I would go hiking with my friends a lot, or, anytime we were outside doing something active. If we had to walk uphill, if we had to run somewhere, it was kind of like an inside joke with my friends that, I would have to stay back because I would, I'd be short of breath or I'd have chest pain. I didn't know why. I thought I might have just been too out of shape. And so I would joke with them. I'd say, hang on, guys, like my HCM is flaring up, just like Lucas's. And so we'd all laugh about it until about a year later in February of 2016, when I was sitting on the doctor's table at UCLA, and my cardiologist is telling me after the echo that I have hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It was like self-prophesized, basically.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Kind of weird.
I like and I dislike that story. That it was unreal, but it was real. And I wish we'd gotten to the diagnosis a little bit sooner, but we got there in time.
Right.
So now your buddies knew that you weren't just trying to be like a character on TV, that it was a legit thing. And you really had what he was acting about. So I guess he was a pretty good actor because it made sense to you, didn't it?
It made sense. Yeah, I connected with it.
Okay.
went from joking about it to it becoming my reality. So
yeah, we might have to reach out to him on that one, but stay tuned. So you hear HCM as it's impacting you for the first time, and you have to make some decisions on treatment pathways. Tell me a little bit about the steps that you went through to decide what you were going to do to manage your HCM.
Certainly. So, like I said, that initial diagnosis was back in February of 2016. It was actually on my 27th birthday when he had officially told me that I had HCM. So I ended up doing what everyone does, Googling it, doing my own online research. I ended up finding a center of excellence through the HCMA at UCLA and Dr. Arnold Boss out there. So I contacted their office. I set up an appointment there and established care at UCLA. He connected me with his electrophysiologist, and they kind of just started to inform me of the condition and treatment options, medicinal, surgical, how to go about it, and basically put me on metoprolol and disopyramide right away. So I was on medication pretty quickly. From there, about a month later, I had the ICD fit. So it all happened very quickly for me. They kind of pointed out that I had the risk factors for the potential of sudden cardiac death or cardiac arrest, which were the scarring. I had syncope spells. My septal thickness was almost to that 3.0. So I went ahead and got the ICD within a month. So it all happened very quickly. It was a big whirlwind. So I had the ICD fit. I'm on medication. Now I've got this condition and I'm figuring out how to live with it. So the rest is kind of like a slower timeline of just checking in, managing the medication, managing my symptoms and how I felt, all of that.
And then we get to the summer of 2017. Now, had you moved at this point?
So, no, I had not yet moved. I was still in UCLA until I moved to Atlanta from LA in February of 2018. So, last year, 2017.
Okay. And
so, yeah, I had moved. I'm sorry. I had totally gotten my years mixed up there. So I'm in Atlanta now at this point. I've been to many places. Okay. Yes. So I'm in Atlanta last summer, 2017. I'm working out fairly regularly. I was able to get clearance from a new center of excellence doctor down in Atlanta at Emory Hospital to participate in CrossFit. So I was doing CrossFit 5 to 6 days a week, feeling pretty good. I had lost a lot of the weight that I had gained from not working out due to the fear of the condition. I'd overcome that. I'd started working out, feeling good. And then one day, about 7 months in, we went on our normal warm-up jog. And when we got back into the gym to stretch, I felt a syncope spell coming on. And, as some people might be familiar with in this group, some of them you can feel it coming on and you can slow it down and stop it. You can kind of feel the darkness taking over your eyes. You can feel your limbs starting to go a little numb. So you slow your breath. You try and sit down. This one hit way too quick. I couldn't slow it. I couldn't stop it. I hit the ground. I passed out. I woke up to everyone in the gym leaning over me, unsure, and they all knew I had the condition and I had the ICD because I had made the gym aware, of course, and it was a smaller gym. But they were like, "We think your device went off. We think your device went off. We don't know." So we called the ambulance. So EMS, of course, came, ran an EKG. My rhythm was okay. They still took me to the hospital. And when I arrived to the ER, the Boston Scientific rep came and she did inform me that the ICD had gone off. So that was the first time the ICD had gone off. And it was kind of a surreal moment because it's not like it was amidst like a really intense workout. It was after the warm-up jog, which I had done thousands of times, something super simple. So I'm trying to figure out what it was. Did I not drink enough water that day? Was I dehydrated? What was going on? At the time, I had a small case of poison ivy and I was on a steroid and I thought the steroid was interfering with my beta blocker. Well, that ended up not being the case because 10 days later, I had been off the steroid for over a week. I've since worked out 3 more times, but same deal. Went to the gym on a Friday, went on our warm-up run, came back in, went to go stretch, and it happened again. The syncope spell hit way too quickly. I passed out. This time it ended up being a lot worse. I didn't realize it because when I woke up, my chest was definitely sore this time, and everyone was much more panicked in the gym. I come to find out I was out cold for over 2 minutes, and my device had shocked me over 10 times.
Frightening.
Yeah, frightening. Needless to say. So that was on a Friday. The paramedics.
Oops, we froze up. Cory, you're freezing up right now. So we're going to pause for a second in hopes that the glitch unglitches and he comes back to us. Oh, darn. Cory. Your story is so intense. We don't want to lose this. I'm hoping that it comes back. I'm going to give Cory a quick phone call on speed dial and see if we can get him to restart. Cory?
Hey.
Hi.
This is a bad freeze.
It's a bad freeze. Now I've got you on speakerphone, so they're hearing you. So while you reset your computer, if you can, we can continue talking about this, and they can hear you, but not quite as well. So let's reset that. And I'm gonna, while we're doing that, I'll buy a little time for our viewers by saying, now here we are. Cory has been diagnosed, identified as high risk, and inside of a year, his device has gone off not once, but twice. And Cory, you're still showing up on the screen. You want to try to pop out and come back in? And then maybe
Am I really? Yeah, I'm logged out, so let me try and reconnect here.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's going to let you while I'm live. That's just my other thought that happened here. So we might have to finish this with just your picture on the screen and your voice. I'm hoping everybody can hear us okay. So next, we have these double shocks. So they scared the heck out of you, and they then, you can try to come back in now because it cleared, and maybe it's going to let you back in. I'm hoping that it will. They changed your medication at this point, and they put you on some Sotalol. Is that correct?
They did. So after that second big incident where the device had gone off over 10 times, I was called. I think I might be back in.
Okay. You're partially back in. We've got to wait for your camera to pop in. Sorry about the technical stuff here, guys. We're going to be talking to Be Live about these breaks that we've been having while trying to use this. You're back.
Okay.
Hanging up the phone. Okay. Sorry about that, Cory. But glad you made it back in. Okay, so they changed your medication after the second event of cardiac arrest and 10 shocks.
Mm-hmm.
And that, my dear, had to be physically draining and emotionally draining. How'd you do after that?
So that was really a wake-up call for me personally. So I saw the doctor that next week, and the electrophysiologist, he walks in, and the first thing he says to me is, "You're lucky to be alive." And it's kind of shocking. Like, I'd always tried to ignore this condition as much as I possibly could, and just live a normal life. Like I said, I've been working out regularly, and now I'm being told I can no longer work out, can no longer do CrossFit ever again, and they need to change my medication right away. So it emotionally took a toll on me, because I'm trying now to figure out, okay, I know I have the condition. I know I took steps to help relieve some of my symptoms and have a preventive guardian angel put in here, preventive measure guardian angel, which has now, saved my life. So it was kind of just more so coping with the reality that this is my new reality.
Yeah.
And learning how to live safely with the condition and treat my body the right way. So I'm on the new medication. I'm no longer allowed to do a workout exercise that I love. And so it was a lot of changes.
So there is another piece to your puzzle of HCM, and that is you're obstructed.
Correct.
So there's some data that suggests that those with obstruction might have a higher propensity for cardiac arrest than those without obstruction. And we have to manage that as well.
Right.
So what the trigger for your cardiac arrest is, we still don't fully know, but you went to a new doctor in Nashville, a program that we'll be evaluating soon as a new potential center of excellence, Dr. Sankar, who I've met at a couple of meetings so far and really think a lot of. And he redid your stress echo, and what happened?
So when I had a new stress echo done this past March, it had been a year since my previous stress echo, and last year's stress echo gradient was of 100 milligrams mercury.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it was over 200. It was over 250.
Yeah.
And it had kind of given me answers for the past couple months. I had not been feeling as I normally did on the metoprolol and the disopyramide. So the new sotalol and diltiazem medication that I've been on, I just haven't been feeling as well as I was feeling on the previous medication when I was exercising daily and taking that. So that's why I had established care here in Nashville and wanted to get some answers. So like you said, had the stress echo completed. The gradient is over 250, which has now led me down a new path.
New path.
Yes.
Pretty quickly. So you got that
pretty quickly.
That thing managed, and now it's okay. I need to deal with obstruction. But before we get to your decision making on what you're going to do about that part now, we were discussing this yesterday that you noticed after meals something was changing. Tell me what you feel after a meal. So
I started noticing this. I did not notice this at first when I had first been diagnosed a couple years ago, but I'd say a little under a year ago, I started to notice after meals, any kind of meals, I would get short of breath very quickly or some minor chest pains. So it just added to the frustration of, if I wanted to go out to lunch with my coworkers and we eat somewhere and we're walking back to the office, I have to lag behind, or they can have a conversation while they're walking, but I'm just focusing on breathing because I'm so short of breath and my chest pain is flaring up that I can't even talk and walk at the same time after a simple meal. So, like you said, to kind of lead me down the new path.
I suspect a number of your HCM brethren out there can completely relate to that.
I'm sure.
So what are we thinking now in terms of treatment pathways?
So now that I've figured out that the gradient is well over 200, and having some conversations with you and figuring out my options, I have officially decided to move forward with septal myectomy.
Okay.
And I'm looking into the Cleveland Clinic.
Okay. You have family in Ohio?
I do have some family in Ohio still. My parents are still in Cincinnati, so that would kind of work out well as a recovery option to be able to have them take me back down to Cincinnati and recover there. So
that'll be nice. You have family doing that. So this has been a bit of a whirlwind. A lot of people get a bit more time between I need a device and my device went off, or I have HCM and I need surgery. Things move pretty quickly. But your attitude seems really good about it. And I understand you may try to use some of your professional skills to follow your personal journey. Tell us what you're thinking you might do. Nothing's in stone yet.
So since my job is video production and I shoot and I edit every day and that's what I do, I would love to kind of document this journey of moving forward with myectomy, maybe pre-consultations with the surgeons, my thoughts and feelings surrounding the surgery itself and the decisions that it took for me to move forward with this, and then actual surgery and recovery. So might be using some of these, the video, experience that I have to put together a journey for others. I know it's kind of other people have done similar things in the past. So maybe looking forward to connecting with some of those people and just seeing how I can share my story with others who are going through the same thing.
Well, we would love to be with you on that journey and share with others, because everybody has their own journey, but we can all learn from each other's journey as well, which we do here at the HCMA all the time. So I'm hoping that we'll find a way that we can partner on that and share your experience and let the community share it as well, whether it be video blogs or web content, etc. So we've got a couple comments here, and I'll invite other people to make comments or ask questions at this point. So Anne, who happens to be a friend of mine who is not an HCM person, finds this fascinating to listen to, and I love that she does, because it's somebody outside of our sphere of all things HCM, and it makes it real to them. So thanks for commenting.
Very cool.
And DeBono, Lindsay, says, you just described me after a meal, especially falling behind my friends in a walk. So these are incredibly common things we hear at the HCMA every single day. One of the very first questions we ask about symptoms is, you know, when somebody says, I get short of breath, how do you feel after a meal? And you have this moment of realization that how did they know that I'm worse after a meal?
Mm-hmm.
It's an obstruction-related symptom. When your stomach demands the blood to process food, your heart's not getting that extra volume. We've lost some volume there, and thereby it's a bit more of a struggle for you to breathe. So it's a very common symptom.
Absolutely.
But I would like to say, so Ray is asking who the cardiologist is in Nashville, and that is
Dr. Mark Zinker here in Nashville. And as Lisa said, they're currently in the process of trying to become a center of excellence.
Yes.
So I know he does have a great team, and I've seen him a few times now. I like him a lot. He's, you know, having had center of excellence doctors at UCLA, Emory Hospital in Atlanta, and now the potential in Nashville, I'm kind of grateful that I've gotten to experience such a wide range of these specialized doctors.
Yeah, you're a little spoiled. Most people don't get to go to 3 centers of excellence. They get 1. So I'm really happy that, you know, in LA, you found a good center for you and you were living there. When you were in Atlanta, you found a center there, and they got you to the next step. I will say I met Dr. Sankar at a conference about 1.5 years ago in New York City, and he struck me as a little unusual in a good way, because he asked some very thoughtful and provocative questions in the sessions. And I actually went up to him at a break. I'm like, who are you and where are you from? I need to know you. And we had a nice discussion, and then he attended the International Summit on HCM, and I said, okay, it's time for you to apply. And he goes, but we're still small. I said, it's okay. We're going to help you grow. And I like him as a clinician. I'm learning more about the program as a whole. I don't necessarily know that they're up to the volume to do high volume surgery yet, but they're a really good program that I can see thus far, and I hope to be visiting them, I think, in the fall. So I'm looking forward to that. And having a number of patients go through the program that, you know, we know, and seeing how he manages you, I'm impressed, and I don't impress easily. So I'm sure you'll all be meeting him on here someday. So Debbie says hello. Hello, Debbie. And Ray, I'm not sure if Dr. Sankar sees pediatrics. Call the office and we can go over the details with you. I know he's an adult cardiologist, but I can check in the file to see what the pediatric arrangement is there. And some adult cardiologists will see teenagers, but not little kids. So give us a call and we'll give you the answers on that one.
We should point out Dr. Zinker is also at...
Lindsay's corrected me, and I'm going to read this long one.
Okay.
Struggling with trying to get back to exercise with HCM. As you can see, exercise and fitness and conditioning. Wondering if we know any alternatives or something to adjust to.
So,
a lot in there.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Gosh, I have so many mixed feelings about this. This is one I struggle with all the time because I'm a former athlete. And when I was first diagnosed, I was scared to work out. So I refrained from it completely until I got to the point where I'm just like, I can't not work out. So I would slowly get back into it. I recommend always, with, you know, if anyone I talk to with a similar condition or that has HCM, it takes a long time for my heart to warm up to exercise. So I always start extremely slow. And then once I'm feeling good, I'm able to do some lightweight lifting and a lot of like bike work. I really, like I said, I no longer participate in the extreme intensity workouts like CrossFit or any type of HIIT workout, but I still do some light weightlifting. I've done yoga. I have done a little bit of swimming. Everything is just at your own pace. I mean, I'd say just kind of get out there and try what you're able to try at a really slow pace. And if your body, listen to your body as much as possible. We are the best. We know our body's the best, better than anyone, right? So it's just taking it slow and figuring out what your body will let you do.
I would agree with that. When I speak to somebody like Cory, who has been a pretty intense athlete, doing CrossFit is not just going to the gym. It's pretty intense. But I look at the clinical profile and I say, you've got a really nasty obstruction here. You're not just a little obstructed, gradient of 30 to 50. You're gradient in the 200s. I would definitely say walking, jogging slowly, some mild swimming, light biking would be the extent on flat surfaces until we get rid of that obstruction. Now, once we've gotten him through a surgery and we've resolved the obstruction and he's rehabbed back, I think we're going to be able to open that door a little bit wider and add in more levels of activity that are appropriate for the new anatomy that Cory will have. And I think it's a really important thing for each patient to talk to their cardiologist about where their limits on exercise are. It's not should you or shouldn't you. We all should exercise. How intense should you exercise and what's the best for your anatomy? That's an individual conversation for you and your HCM specialist, best case scenario, or a general cardiologist who understands HCM. I would also encourage you to take a look at the HCMA website. There is a link to an exercise program developed by an HCM expert in Toronto and an exercise physiologist with beginner, intermediate, and advanced ways of doing all these exercises with video and clips and all that kind of stuff that you guys can watch to learn how to do things properly and keep yourselves in good health. So it's really important to stay healthy. But when you know that your anatomy is one that's, got a propensity for, syncope and, gradients of over 200, gotta chill it out a little bit and take our time and make sure that we resolve that gradient and then get back to the gym in a more intense fashion. So we've got some thanks coming in here from Ray and Lindsay. These Facebook names sometimes get me, Lindsay, so that's that. Cory, is there anything else you'd like to say to the HCM community today?
No, just a big thank you for having me on and allowing me to share my story. As you had said earlier, it really is kind of a cathartic process for, the person sharing your story. But if there's any way I can help others or connect with someone who's experienced similar feelings or similar symptoms, I'd like to do that. So appreciate you having me on here and taking the time to allow me, share my story and what I've gone through.
Well, Cory, it's us that we need to thank you for sharing. It's not always easy, and you went through a lot. And I hope you know that the HCM community and the HCMA is here to support you through this journey.
Appreciate that.
And
thank you.
Get you through that surgery and you become a member of the Zipper Club. We can share that one as well. And we'll find a way to share that video content and help others.
Looking forward to that.
Before we leave, we have one more comment from Mark. I don't want to leave Mark out of this. Good days versus bad days. Do you find yourself unable to function on the bad days? I usually do 1 or 2 days a month. So good day, bad day syndrome is a real thing. And we don't understand it yet. But Cory, do you deal with good day, bad day?
I do, of course. I'm fortunate that my bad days aren't nearly as much as my good days, which is great. But I have them. On those days, I'm always just trying to sit as much as possible. I just try and stay super hydrated. I carry around a 32-ounce hydro flask with me everywhere I go.
Okay.
And I try and drink, 3 to 4 of those a day.
Wow.
So I'm always drinking a lot of water. But yeah, you're going to have the setbacks, I think. And it's all just kind of listening to your body, like we said earlier. And it's recognizing the condition. I don't want the condition to control me. I want to try and manage it and understand it. So that's where I'm at mentally with it. Physically, there are some days where you got to chill out, just sit down, relax, drink a lot of water.
Yeah. There's some days that the couch is calling you and you cannot ignore it, or the floor will find you. And those of us with HCM understand couch or floor. Couch is a little bit more comfortable. So let's stick with that. You're welcome, Mark. We're glad you asked the question. Cory, thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Of course.
With our community. We wish you well with your myectomy, and we hope
Thank you. Yeah, very soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. And
All
thanks
right.
for being
Have a
today.
good one.
Join us next time
Thank
to share
you.
your story. Bye-bye. Ending broadcast. Oh, it's very slow.